Nigerian population are extremely poor. Experts suggest that government intensifies efforts at funding and investing in food and nutrition policies.
Every dollar that you invest in stunting reduction, then you're getting about $16 return. So that is huge kind of return of investment. So if I were the government, I think one of the smart investments to do is to invest in nutrition. And imagine investing to treat 13 million children. The rate of investment that you're going to get is huge. And I think it's more of an opportunity than a challenge for the government to take advantage of it, to make sure that we use the simple, proven methods and interventions that are working to reduce malnutrition.
Statistics from this report makes Nigeria the second African country with the highest rate of children having growth-related issues after the Democratic Republic of Congo. Many here are hopeful that adequate funding would be made for nutrition policies in order to change the narrative and place Nigeria's future generation on a growth path. Kelechi Amekalam, CGTN Abuja, Nigeria.
We are going to a break now. Don't go away. Lots more to come, including brides in South Africa opting for brightly coloured wedding gowns. And Lagos artist creates his own art form.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London, China Global Television Network. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
African governments are increasingly recognizing the role played by traditional medicine. Since January, at least half a dozen countries have begun registration of practitioners and have increased oversight in the sector in a bid to standardize treatment and also to deal with charlatans. CGTN's Yulissa Njamela looks at traditional medicine in South Africa.
African traditional medicine has been used by African populations for the treatment of diseases long before the advent of mainstream medicine. It continues to carry a part of the burden of health for the majority of the population. For centuries, Africans have relied on traditional medicine for healing, and even with the dominance of Western medicine, traditional medicine is still widely used in South Africa. This country is endowed with many plants that can be used for medicinal purposes. South Africa has one of the most established traditional medicine sectors on the continent. The annual turnover from traditional medicine in the country is reportedly just over 28 billion rand. This is according to a study conducted by the South African National Biodiversity Institute, an institute that contributes to South Africa's sustainable development by facilitating access to biodiversity data, generating information and knowledge, amongst other things. That study also revealed that there are about 200,000 registered traditional healers across the country who serve some 70% of the population.
Our traditional medicine is very important. A great number of South Africans come here to get traditional medicine. We are good and we know it. We help a lot of people. The whole country is people like me who offer this essential service.
The South African government is one of the few nations to make significant progress in including traditional health practice in the mainstream healthcare system. The country has done this by using the law as a tool for formal integration.
We're beginning to see strategic departments such as the Department of Science and Innovation. Now it has a unit which focuses on indigenous knowledge systems and traditional medicine, which they call bioeconomy, is one of the most important, strategy that they've designed. And part of that strategy is to assist in the development of people like me who are traditional health practitioners that are interested in biotrade, that are interested in starting up businesses on traditional medicine.
Maseko also attributes the growth of the traditional medicine sector to the resilience of their customers.
Over the years, we have seen a lot of clients being forced by medical aids, by their employers, to only, procure Western medicine. But then over the years, when clients realized who they are, their consciousness level grew. They then said, no, we can't be forced to use only this form of medicine. We also want to use other forms of medicine, including traditional medicine.
South Africa's health department has also recently committed to offer traditional healers an opportunity to participate in the government consultations and broader discussions around the implementation of the National Health Insurance. NHI is a financing system that is designed to pool funds to provide access to quality, affordable health services for all South Africans, irrespective of their socio-economic conditions. Yudison Jamela for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Weddings are an expensive business, and that includes the dress. The white wedding gown is still a favourite for women all over the world, but there is a new trend emerging where brides are opting for bright colours and unconventional outfits for their big day. Sumitra Naidu has more.
South African fashion designer Neville Masondo is making waves in the industry with his creative bridal couture.
Earlier this year when I did my bridal collection in Cape Town, I used the Nigerian culture and the Zulu cultures. The Nigerian culture is just about the versatility of and the modern traditional element that their outfits have. The Zulu culture, I wanted to show people that, Zulu culture is a very hardcore Zulu. There's a lot of color in it, So when I introduced that whole white ensemble with all pearl and hand craftsmanship on it, I just wanted to show people that, we can still do Zulu, but with a very modern element as far as color is concerned.
South African women are lining up to have Masondo make them something bold and beautiful. The price tag, too, is quite extravagant. Some dresses cost up to $2,000.
I have a very international style that is a lot of beadwork, haute couture, avant-garde. I've got a lot of hand craftsmanship, and I'm known for my beadwork. So people come to me because of my beadworks.
Something I really love about Neville's collection is that the wedding gowns typically just move away from our traditional conception of what a wedding gown is supposed to be. It expects a lot of African aesthetics, a lot of African influence. So seeing that incorporated into a very traditionally Eurocentric concept and us taking it and adapting it in our own way has really just broadened the whole perspective of what an African wedding gown can be.
I think it's very important that we embrace our own cultures and throughout the continent of Africa. So beautiful to see African prints or African traditional designs being followed.
Africa is becoming broader and broader, so I see my brand on an international level. I see myself showcasing at Paris Haute Couture very soon.
Masondo says it won't be long before his glamorous wedding dresses hit the big stages in Europe. Sumitra Naidu, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Let's now cross over to Nigeria, where an artist is creating art through symbols used in the patterns of nature. And as CGTN's Lonela Lupawana reports, he uses the symbols to tell stories. Let's take a look.
Yusef Abogunde is working on his latest project, painting the walls of a studio in Lagos. He starts out by creating a central subject, then slowly fills in the mural with intricate lines and patterns. Yusef calls his art form Ainaisim. Aina is a name from the Nigerian Yoruba tribe, referring to a child born with its umbilical cord around its neck. This inspired him to paint lines mimicking an umbilical cord. But just how did he come up with this kind of art?
I was trying to receive a call and waiting for the person to tell me what to write down. I decided my hand started drawing lines in different motions and on the small paper. Then I didn't call it Ainoism. I really didn't even know my name was Aino until my mom told me. So I decided to keep drawing this same particular patterns, line motions, because it's something I've not really seen before then.
Yusef started experimenting with Ainaisim art in 2016 while studying in applied arts. He says his art is unique because it creates symbols that are used in the spiral nature of life.
It is deeper than just drawing lines and patterns. It actually has symbols in which I am building their meanings, because whenever I'm creating my pieces, I see and discover new symbols that doesn't exist before. So I give them meaning. At the moment, I have the symbol of man, woman, birth, power, human being, and so on.
Ainaisim artistry has made Yusef one of the most popular artists in Nigeria. He's occasionally commissioned by private clients and art galleries across Lagos.
People that come here see it as like a holy place, like something that has value, something that has value, you understand? And that's what he does. He completely turns the place into this surreal environment that, you can't just move in. I see people want to come in and they take off their slippers because they feel, it's classic,
One painting can take between 4 to 12 hours, depending on the intricacy of the patterns and size of the wall. And to paint a wall can set you back for about $1,400. Yusef also offers other painting services where he recreates the Aina technique on people's faces. Shonela Lupuana, CGTN.
We are going to a short break now. We've got all the sports news coming up for you, including incoming Ghana Football Association President Kurt Okraku looks to the challenge ahead.
AfricaLive. Find your voice.
The Ghana Football Association has elected Kurt Okraku as its new president. The election of the football administrator comes over a year after FIFA banned his predecessor, Kwesi Nyantaki, for life following a corruption scandal. CGTN's Nabil Ahmed Rufai reports now from Accra.
118 out of 120 delegates turned up to vote at the Ghana Football Association elections. 6 candidates contested for the position of president of the GFA. Football administrator Kurt Okraku emerged winner after 3 rounds of elections to make the 50+1% of votes cast.
Our players, our staff, our groundsmen, our clubs, the female teams, the coast teams, everybody, amateur football across board. This is our time. We will celebrate this victory today. Tomorrow, work begins.
The position of president of the GFA became vacant following a lifetime ban handed former president Kwesi Nyantaki by FIFA for his involvement in a corruption scandal. FIFA then set up a normalization committee to run the country's football, and their mandate expires in November. Football analysts have high expectations for the new GFA administration to be headed by the newly elected president, Kurt Okraku.
He said a lot in his manifesto, which talked about inclusivity, transparency, accountability, and those will certainly be watchwords for me.
We're going to be looking at one, for example, the image of the sport, because if the image is bad, it's almost impossible for you to attract corporate sponsorship. And if you're not attracting corporate sponsorship, it's almost impossible for you to find money in the sports.
Kurt Okweku is a trained journalist and has held the position as member of the executive committee of GFA from 2017 to 2018. As the newly elected president of Ghana's Football Association, he will now take over the administration of the country's football from the Normalization Committee. He faces a huge task to improve the association's dented reputation, as well as put the country's football back on track, especially with the organization of local premier leagues. He says he will give up his position as the CEO of Ghana Premier League club Dreams FC to focus on his new role as GFA president. Nabil Ahmed Rufai, CGTN, Accra, Ghana.
On to some rugby news now. England has reached the 2019 World Cup final after beating defending champions New Zealand 19-7. England stormed to the lead